Yes, good evening. This is Wallace Gator Bradley, President of United in Peace, Inc. First off, I want to say I'd like to thank all my viewing audience. This is my last show for this part of the season, but I'll be back in October. I want to let everyone know that I want to thank Ms. Terry Marsh, who is the producer of this show, the chairman of United in Peace, Inc. She's also executive director of this show, and she handles the public relations for this show. So all my viewing audience, they be on time with your Facebook comments, your Twitter comments. I appreciate you. And as y'all all know, I've been blessed by God to be loved by that woman, Terry Marsh. With that, I want to say to God be the glory. There's a lot I want to get into this show. There's a lot I want to put out before I accept any callers. A lot of news. You know, we just finished with the Democratic primary for governor, and Pritzker ended up being the winner of that race for the Democratic Party, and Ronna ended up becoming the candidate that won the race in the Republican Party. So now all Democrats that said you really wanted Ronna out, time for us to come together and make that happen. Because you can rest assured that Ronna and his band of individuals who will be trying to suppress the youth vote, the African American vote in particular, so that Ronna can be reelected. But we, along with JB, and with the grace of God, will make sure that don't happen. But in the midst of that, there's going to be mayoral election season. Ron Emanuel lands a key O'Hare victory. That was very interesting and very enlightening. I happened to be at the Finance Committee meeting that Chairman Burke called in reference to getting $4 million or selling $4 billion in bonds in order to pay or to be the first installment of the $8 billion that's going to be the plan for O'Hara. The wonderful thing about that, by me being at the meeting, and I ask my viewing audience, whether you're my friends, fans, or foes, come down to those committee meetings. You have a right as a people to state your complaint and have something to say. And know this, when you say something, you help with the legislation that's coming down that's representing our communities. In that meeting, I learned that African Americans or African American firms that deal with the bonds issue, I was impressed to know that it was a total where they're getting 20% of the $8 billion bonding deal. Loop Capital was getting the biggest share. I think they were our partner, and the other African Americans were like co-partners. Okay? Something else that was key. The conversation had went beyond minority participation in the bond deal. It was broke down to women, Latino or Hispanic individuals, and I come to find out there's only 4 Hispanic or Latino companies that deal with bonding in the whole United States. And African Americans and and disabled veterans were able to get some of the bonding deal. What makes this wonderful, we now, for lack of a better phrase, no, for the right phrase, in the name of fairness, we're not saying minority and then other contractors. We're seeing where African Americans are allowed to get their fair share, Latinos and Hispanics getting their fair share, disabled veterans getting their fair share, and minority and women getting their fair share. That's also inclusive of the jobs. Supposed to be 60,000 jobs, I'm hearing. I ran into a young lady who's a structural engineer. And she has a company that knows how to do runways. Later on, I'll be speaking out loud publicly to make sure that she's able to get her fair share as a woman, a minority, and African American. Caller, could you please state your name and give me a comment, because I want to get these news stories out, because this is going to be the last show, so I want to inform my viewing audience. Speak up, tell me about it. Talk to me.
Yes, sir, great everybody. This is Ray.
Hey, Ray.
I just want to say this first. I want to congratulate you, your crew, your lovely wife. I want to say hooray, 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 because of the great people that you have on this show. But now I want to say this. Hopefully, God willing, that 20% will be for us. I'm Mexican American, African American, veterans, disabled, but we haven't had that lately.
Right.
Everything, $100 million worth of construction going downtown, we've got nothing.
Right.
Not a thing.
Right.
So hopefully they keep their word this time, and believe me, it'll be because of you, because you're always on them, and that's why I respect you so much, because you talk from the heart and you tell the truth, and thank God for people like you, Gator. It'll make it easier for all minorities.
Right.
So that's what I want to say.
Thank you, Ray.
Great man, and go and when you're on vacation, have a great time.
Hey, you too.
I will, and I'll be waiting.
Hey, I'll be around. Thank you, Ray. Hey, on that note, I appreciate you, Ray. Now, this year, I've seen a blue moon. It almost scared me to death. Like, what is that? I was afraid to say that I saw it until I heard the next day someone in the media made mention of it. But this year, I want you to hear me. Because I always say to God be the glory. I want you to know that even though today is Good Friday and Easter will be April 1st, know that the resurrection is real and is no joke. With that, I want to go to the mayor's race. Going to be real interesting. There's a lot of people that's lining up for the race. Now we're hearing that Paul Vallis, he said he's going to throw his name in the race Monday. I do know that it's Paul Vallis, Willie Wilson, McCarthy, who used to be the former superintendent, and we know that Willie Wilson is a African American businessman, and he's been giving of his heart lately, helping the individuals who couldn't make bond and helping individuals who couldn't pay the property tax. And his brother, can't pronounce his name correct, so I don't want to destroy his name, but as a young African American that used to be a principal, he's running. So that's Willie Wilson That's Paul Vallis, that's McCarthy, that's this brother, I'm going to find his name in a minute. Here it is. His name is Lavere, something like that. It's Laravieire. It sounds French, but whatever it is, it's a young brother. He was a principal of a high school, and he's the president of the Principals Association. He's running. Willie Wilson, that brother, McCarthy, Paul Vallis, and I'm sure Ron was going to run for re-election. That's 5 people. That's almost as many people that ran for governor. But hey, what can I say? I wish them all the best luck. You got a right to run. Have a strong platform. You know, there was a poll that was done, and it said that Ron was unelectable. Well, I think a lot of people may feel that way, but that was McCarthy's poll. If I was McCarthy, I might put the poll up and say he's unelectable too. And one of the things that I believe is going to catch his attention, and everyone is running for mayor's attention, and those of us who are registered voters, especially the young voters from 18 to 25. The issue that's affecting them, from what I'm seeing, and I know from what you're seeing, they say Emmanuel and Mannigan, that's the Attorney General, Lisa Mannigan, okay, they have came together to work to put a document together to help with some legislation that's going to get this outlandish police activity, the corrupt activity, the shooting of innocent African Americans, and no one getting prosecuted. Okay? And a new CPD, new police. But what's out there now is that the mayor had made a promise to have something where the community can take part in. And that's what this Emmanuel, the mayor, and the Attorney General, Lisa Mannigan, are coming together to get some type of decree done, because they know they couldn't do it with Sessions. And they're talking about bringing in or making it where the community has to say so in this. If that should happen, I want to say hooray, hooray, hooray. The people's voice need to be heard on these issues, because we're seeing, for some reason, like with the murder of Betty Jones and the young brother LaGria. Everyone is in an uproar. That's the mayor. He was just deposed in that case. You know, the judge ordered that the mayor and Johnson be deposed in the civil suit that the families have, LeClaire and Betty Jones' family have against the city because of this police officer who was not in danger from the report that I'm seeing in the newspaper, and from the report that Cobra gave, it shows where the man was not justified in shooting that young man or Betty Davis, and it was wrong. The superintendent, he was deposed, and from what I'm reading, there was a letter that they sealed. The judge gave the orders for the letter to be sealed, but before it was sealed, somehow or another, it was linked out there, and it was where the superintendent said that he felt that it was a justifiable shooting. Well, that upset a lot of people. That upset the community. That upset aldermen. That upset myself. This case here has went through so much. When you had the city's law department and the law firm that they hired tried to go to court to file a motion to say that the estate of LaGreer was responsible for the murder of Betty. But it was the police that killed both of them. The police was on the curve. He wasn't up on the stairs. He wasn't in the hallway. He shot from the street. So how can he say that a guy had a bat that was coming to swing at him when the man was in a hallway and this man was on the street, on the curve? Okay, the casings from the gun were on the curve. So at the city council meeting, I was allowed to speak because of a law that made it where individuals have 3 minutes to speak before the city council. And I asked the mayor and I asked the alderman to support the community and COPA and override the superintendent's stance against the firing of that police officer that killed those two people. Caller, could you please state your name and voice your comment?
Yeah, okay. Now, they always talk about the mental ill. The media and the politics, they always talk about the mental ill. But what about the police? When they shot the guy in 21 times, and they got a mental issue too. They have a mental issue too. Like the police, they got a mental issue. They always talk about other people got a mental issue. The police got a mental issue too.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. But hey, I hear you. My time getting short. But I hear what you're saying because you constantly saying that, and I support you. Okay. And something else. I'm against all senseless violence. Black on black violence, white on white violence, police on black violence, domestic violence. I'm against all senseless violence. I believe it all supposed to stop. But what this gentleman just called said, when the individual is on the porch of his grandmother's house, he talking about the shooting in Sacramento. That was atrocious. You follow what I'm saying? So there's a lot that's going to come out about that. But I'm here because I see what's about to happen. It's going to be a hot summer in Chicago. Right around the time where everybody is posturing to run for mayor and run for alderman. With the McDonald trial being scheduled for the summer, it's going to be hot. So let us pray, okay, that the jury do the right thing based on the evidence. It's going to be a hot summer. And I'm saying that because with that trial, the Laquan McDonald trial, the 16 shots, and with the fact that I believe the mayor needs to settle the suit with Betty Davis' estate and LaGrea's estate. So we get that out the way, because Chicago is sitting on a hotbed. Okay? And police shootings, they get the most attention, pretty much more than the shootings of African Americans against another African American. I read in the paper where an individual run up into a church to rob a church. But to God be the glory that the individual, the elder that was in there, has something to protect himself and the church. He got shot. Both of them got shot. But just think, if that elder would not have had a weapon, which he had a right to have, it might have been 2 or 3 dead people in the church. I'm just saying, this is the time that we're living in. And on another note, this family's son, Ricardo Rodriguez, was released from the penitentiary because of this corrupt officer by the name of this corrupt officer had framed a lot of Hispanic individuals, to the point that a lot of them have been released because of the actions of this officer. And this officer, the state's attorney, dropped charges against this man, okay, against Rodriguez, because the officer took the fifth when they was giving him immunity. And I'm saying that to say this. There's a case of 3 brothers, 3 African-American men, Terrence Brooks, Javan Deloney, and Ivan Smith. And there's a federal document that was sealed in the Inglewood 4 case that they released. And it shows where a judge by the name of Charles Burns, or Chuck Burns, he was an assistant state's attorney. And this black assistant state's attorney was questioned by the FBI. And the black assistant state's attorney said this guy Burns was telling individuals that they must work with officers that they know is corrupt in order to prosecute African Americans in particular, and Latinos in particular, not giving them a fair trial. Burns was the assistant state's attorney in the trial against Terrence Brooks, Javan Deloney, Maurice Deloney, Ivan Smith, and Curtis Millsap. 40 individuals were tortured. Terrence Brooks wasn't tortured. Burns, 2 police officers whose name is known as being individuals who tortured suspects, went all the way to Tennessee to get Ivan Smith to get a torture confession, that the torture commission come back and said that he was tortured, to implicate Terrence Brooks. And if it wasn't for Governor George Ryan, Terrence Brooks would be dead today because he was on death row. So I'm asking the state's attorney to free them 2 guys, because Curtis Millsap, he got acquitted in that case. Maurice Deloney got acquitted in that case. And the city council created an ordinance about reparations to tortured victims. And Maurice and Curtis Millsap, who was tortured, got a reparations of $100,000. So I'm asking Kim Foxx, I'm asking y'all to call Kim Foxx and ask Kim Foxx to free Terrence Brooks. And hopefully the special prosecutors will free Ivan Smith and Javan Deloney. My time is getting short. I just want to say, do I have a caller? Caller, could you please state your name and voice your opinion?
This is Pastor Greg Daniels.
Hey, Pastor, talk to me fast. Come on.
Well, the superintendent is off point on this. I just met him. I gave him a compliment, thought he's doing a great job, but after this letter was leaked, I'm going to try to get a hold to the superintendent and let him know that we're none too pleased about it. And Brother Gator Bradley, you're doing a great job on your show. I'm surprised that I have not been on it.
Well, you gonna be on it in November? Hey, man, I'll be back in October. You definitely gonna be on it. Hey, man, but give your wife my love, life, and loyalty. And hey, man, now you know if we stand out there in the cold and in the hot summer, talking about if we don't work, nobody works. You know you're gonna be on this show. Hey, that ain't nothing but a call away.
We're gonna get together real soon. You give me a call at 312-399-3431, Brother Gator.
You got it. And my number is 312-371-6914. We got you. Hey, man, and I want to thank you for your support of me and others in that governor's race where Prisco won, and so you know you're going to keep them feet to the fire about putting African Americans to work. I love you. And with that, I want to say to my viewing audience, I'll see you again in October. So to God be the glory, and I thank everyone that got out there and voted. Thank you. And I'm out of here. Hey, and go to church to show the devil that he's a lie. The resurrection was real, and it is no April 1st or April Apple Fool, whatever they call it, joke. Thank you.